Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are the real estate relocation experts, and my name is Maria Horat, and I'm a real estate broker in Northern California. And today I'm joined by my son, Alexander Horat, who's also a real estate agent. And we'll be discussing one particular county in the state of California, and that is Tuolumne County, which is about 3 hours away from the San Francisco Bay Area. And we're going to be discussing the real estate market in this county, and also housing affordability and some important topics. So for that, I want to welcome Alex, and he's going to start the conversation with a few of his data that he has found on these topics. Thank you, Alex, for joining.
Yes. Oh, thank you. And big thank you to everyone who's watching. And yeah, before I get in the nuts and bolts of this video about Tuolumne County, we're actually based in Tuolumne County. Me and my mom have a company called Gold Country Properties, which she's the broker of. I just got my license a year ago. So if you need any help buying or selling any properties in Tuolumne County, we can definitely help you. My mom's been selling houses for years, and we can also help you in the entire state of California, and that'll really help support us in the channel. And yes, Tuolumne County is a really important county in California. It's actually home of Yosemite National Park, and that's behind me. And that's one of Tuolumne County's the main drivers for its economy is its tourism. And a lot of people like vacationing here. A lot of people like having second homes up here in the mountains, especially since we're in the foothills, the Sierra Nevadas. So people really like that. So now I'm going to share you some market insights so you can better know what's going on here in Tuolumne County. So as a lot of you already know, all of California has had the first net population decline in over 100 years very recently. So this map is showing us basically where people are moving in and where people are moving out with the whole state of California. But right now we're focusing on Tuolumne County. So we can see here, here's Groveland. This is where Yosemite Park is. A large part of it is like over here. So there's been a net migration of minus 448 households. And then we can see Jamestown minus 77 households. Sonora minus 703 households. There's actually been a net population gain in Tuolumne City of 20 people. And then we can see Soulsbyville, net population gain of 47 households, I mean. And then here is Miwok Village, minus 46 households. And Columbia, minus 97 households. And Pinecrest, which had a net population gain of 0. So these are just some important statistics to know, just to see how migration patterns are happening. Basically, the red means people are moving out, blue means people are moving in, and white means population is fairly stable. Tuolumne County actually hasn't been hit nearly as hard as some other counties. If you look at Oakland, San Francisco, there's really a big population decline there. Tuolumne County has a slight population decline in this, so I think that's just an important thing to note really quick. And now I'm going to share a screen to show you some other important market insights about Tuolumne County. So here it is. So right here it shows that the median age of people in Tuolumne County is 48.6, and the median age in California as a whole is 37. So basically what that's telling us is Tuolumne County is a retirement community. There's more elderly people here who like to retire up here because they want to be in the mountains and stuff. And the per capita income here in Tuolumne County is $37,000. Median household income is $66,000. There's about 10% below the poverty line. And the number of households is 23,000. So let's continue going down. So here's some other really important statistics. So it says right here, median value of owner-occupied property is $333,000. And let's continue going down. And there's also this right here, occupied versus vacant houses. So about 75% of houses are occupied in Tuolumne County and 26% are vacant. And that is a pretty large proportion. I think those vacant houses are probably vacation houses where people come up, every once in a while, whenever they want to come up to Tuolumne County. It's a second house. And as of the occupied units, 75% of houses are owner occupied and 25% are basically rentals. And if we look here, Do you have that one statistic basically showing how Tuolumne County's market is compared from a year ago?
Yeah,
Basically, we
yeah, there's a couple of sources. One is the California Association of Realtors. The one I want to use is the one from Tuolumne County Association of Realtors, which shows the year's end statistics for housing. So as we can see, the median sales price has had a decrease of 8% in the last year, as of June of this year. And the average sales price has declined 12%. The average days on the market has increased 41%. Total sales have decreased by 42%. So this is not just for our county, but basically in the whole state of California, the whole United States, we have been seeing a supply constraint of housing, which means that there's not a whole lot of homes available for sale. Private sales have declined 44%. We have had like 11 increases, the rate hikes on the mortgages in the last year. We are at an all-time high for the last 22 years for interest rates. So, and we add another factor to that, and that is the insurance. Homeowners insurance has increased dramatically, especially in Tuolumne County, where we're surrounded by the national forest. We have had several wildfires in the last 10 years, and that has been, unfortunately, one of the causes, so they say, that premiums have increased that much. So therefore, we're starting to see an increase on foreclosures. And this year, we've seen a 400% increase on foreclosures. Basically, in 2022, there were only a couple. This year, there has been 10. Overall, even the high sales price have been like the luxury homes have, the decrease has been 35% in the last year. So that kind of gives us an idea of where we're at. It's not uncommon. We're seeing similar numbers in other counties, or even worse, like what you were saying in the metro areas. And a lot of people are moving from those metro areas like San Francisco into counties like ours, and basically just looking for more affordability, house affordability, which is you have an income of 39,000 per capita in the counties, it would be really hard to afford a home, purchase a home or rent a home for that matter. But it used to be where, just about a year and a half ago, you could say it was cheaper. Your monthly payment for housing was cheaper if you bought a home versus if you rent a home. But now we're seeing those numbers inverted. Now it's cheaper to rent in most cases than it is to purchase a home. So, what else would you like to add to that, Alex?
Well, I think one major issue is the higher interest rates. Basically, we're hovering near zero, and now it's closer to 7% right now. So basically, say you're buying $1 million house today, it's going to cost you a lot more if you have to borrow that money than it did a year ago, your monthly mortgage bill. So that's making people want to buy houses in Tuolumne County. That's why we're seeing a large downturn in the market right now compared to last year, and the sales of actual houses this year as well. So I think that's what the major cause of that is, that alone.
Right.
And I think if we see higher costs of living go up, like such, one thing that you should look at when you're buying a property is to see how much it's going to cost, for utilities. So the TUD, the local water company, is going to be increasing water rates by 28%. They're actually really increasing the water rates by a huge amount. And then you can look at PG&E and stuff and the electric companies and see what type of prices they have. So that's another important thing to know before buying a property in this area. I think one of the main drives here is that it's really nice in the mountains, that you can like it here. But I mean, if you have a $500,000 house and you still owe $250,000, but it's becoming kind of unaffordable for you due to, higher water bills, higher electricity bills, it might be wise for you just to sell your property for 500,000 and then pocket the 250,000 and buy a house free and clear in some other state where the taxes are less regulations, and the water and stuff is cheaper anyway. because you can still bring your social security to another state anyway. You're still going to get that check anywhere in the United States. So I think that's important to note. Basically, so you can better protect yourself, and check the property taxes in whatever county you're in. But if you're going to buy a house here for vacation rental, that might be a good idea because there's a lot of big drives here like Yosemite and Pinecrest and other places for people in the city. But would you like to talk a little bit about the transient occupancy tax?
Yes. So in Tuolumne County, that tax has been 12%. Now there has been a bill that have been on the works to increase, and that was for the state of California, the transient tax, another 15% on top of the 12%, so that will make it 27%. And it's a tax that Airbnb or VRBO guests will have to pay on their nightly stay. So if they're paying $200 a night, they'll have to pay a 27% tax on that. They're supposed to roll that out by the end of 2025. So that's definitely going to affect tourism in the state, in particular in areas like Tuolumne County. And just unfortunately, there's not going to be, due to that, it's probably not going to be as much tourism demand for our area, which is one of the main drivers of our local economy. So we have that to deal with. The other thing that people should look into if they're going to buy a vacation rental is whether they can do it without having to get a permit, or whether you need a permit. I know for Sonora, the city of Sonora, they are not issuing new Airbnb or short-term rentals permits. So that's something that you definitely should check before you close escrow on a property you're buying, wherever you buy a property, to make sure that you can actually do a vacation rental in that particular location. I know Groveland and Twin Heart and Miwok, those are some really good areas. They usually typically stay pretty solid in the winter time and even the summer. It all depends on the location and the kind of house, of course, that you get. And of course, we're seeing what I mentioned about another factor that's driving the slight decline on the purchase, on the prices and affordability, is the fact that the insurance companies are, a couple of them have left the state, or rather have not been issuing new policies, and many of the people who have still have, say, Allstate or one of those companies, their policies are getting canceled, and so they have to get their insurance to California Fair Plan, which I found out last week. I didn't even know this, but it's run by a conglomerate of insurance companies. It's approved by the states.
Right.
A partnership, a public-private partnership with these companies. So that creates an issue on its own. But we're not the only state that's facing the homeowners insurance premiums going up. Other states in the Sun Belt, like Florida, are facing similar issues. So the main thing, everything is going up. We have inflation, the cost of food, the cost of energy, the cost of utilities, the cost of housing, and also the cost of building materials are going up. And also there is more regulations for building, which at least for the state of California, builders have to follow these new guidelines to meet the climate carbon footprint. So they have to meet certain guidelines to make their construction more efficient for the environment, which is making construction costs way more expensive, which is making the housing more unaffordable for the average person, and no choice for, which in turn is also making rentals more unaffordable, even though we have seen a slight decrease in the rental market. But that's due to the fact that a lot of people who really can't afford to sell their homes to buy something else, because their payment for a similar price home would be twice as much now with the new interest rates. So they have no choice but to rent them out. And so we're going to start seeing more of that. So it's going to take some time for the market to find an equilibrium, if any. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to take some time for everybody to be able to find that midpoint, if ever. So at this point, we're just dealing with that, the rising cost of everything while wages are the same. And the best thing that we can advise is, like you said, if you have equity on your property and you really feel that you can afford to stay where you're at, or you want to move out of the area for whatever reason, right now will be a good time to capitalize on the equity and being able to purchase a home at another state, or even within, if you're in the Bay Area, a lot of people make Tuolumne County the place where they want to be, because it's still a lot cheaper than it is the Bay Area, but you're still in California, and your payments are going to be quite a bit cheaper. So if you have $1 million house and you have $500,000 in equity, you can afford to buy a very nice home here in Tuolumne County. And
Oh, for sure.
same wise, if you want to buy out of state, you can do the same, and you can probably afford to buy a couple of homes with what the equity that you can sell your home for. We don't know how long that's going to last. We've seen what happened in 2008, where prices went down substantially. I don't know whether that's going to be the same case now, but only time will tell. So just for everyone to know, we're going to put a link down in the description if you need assistance with relocating, whether that is across town or across the United States, and we can help you find a realtor in another state that can meet your real estate needs, and help you find someone you can trust, and being able to find exactly what you're looking for, whether that is a home in the mountains or a city or the suburbs. We'll go ahead and leave the link below, so then you can start the process. We can be in contact with you. Thank you so much, and we hope you can share and like it. And we are going to be making some more videos with around other areas, and showing what the real estate market is for those areas, for those who are interested. Thank you so much for joining us.